Wonderful. It's recording, and I'll go on speaker's view. I can see Rickson because I can't see everyone now. Can you see me on speaker's view? Can you give me a thumbs up, Rickson? Excellent. Thank you. So, dear ABBA family, a very, very warm welcome to this ABBA Live Hangout on the 3 steps for you to take in your African business to finish 2018 on a high. And this is a very important live hangout. I'm very, very glad that all of you joined, because this live hangout is leading towards one of the most important ones in the year, which will take place in December. So this one is a preparation for it, and you will be good prepared in December if you listen today well and you take the action that I recommend. So I want to start with a little bit of a wisdom, and that is success. I want to let you know, or let me start this way. I want to build some context first, as always, before we dive into the 3 things that you have to do. And of course, building context is always important, so you understand why. Now, you see, success is not a random thing. It is not luck. It is not education. It is not, being brought up in a certain environment, unless, of course, it is a successful environment and you've been taught a lot of things. But success is really a science. It is really a formula that you can follow. And that's the beauty of it, because everyone can become successful if they follow this formula. Now, I want to share a wisdom that I really love. And those of you who have pen and paper, I would even write it down, but I will repeat it. Listen first, and then you write it down. So, success is doing certain things in a certain way consistently. All right, write that down. Success is doing certain things in a certain way consistently. So there are really 3 aspects to it. You have to do certain things to become successful. Then you have to do them in a certain way, and then you have to do them consistently. And this is really something that I want to drive home, and that I really, really will focus on the ABBA 2.0. I want to make sure that you know everything that you need in order to become successful. And that's what we will handle in the monthly bundles. You see, there's a lot of information out there, not just in regards to doing business in Africa, but in regards to how to do business. And sometimes you feel that overload and you don't really know what's needed and what's not needed. However, most people go the shortcut. They think, okay, it's all about, I don't know, opening a manufacturing place or a website or a shop or something like that, and filling it with products. And then they think they're ready to do business. But that is just a tiny bit of it, because you need to do certain things in a certain way consistently. Now, if you feel you are either not moving forward, and moving forward slowly in the beginning, by the way, is very natural. So don't beat yourself up. It's very natural. But if you're 3-4 years in and still you're not making progress, or even 2 years in and you're still feeling you're not making progress, if you are in business already and you think like, somehow, where is the success in terms of financial success, financial freedom, having a great business, feeling on top of the world with the business? If that is not coming in, it's not flowing to you, then chances are you're either not doing the certain things that are required, or you're not doing them in the right way, or you're not doing them consistently. So I really would like you to, this doing certain things in a certain way consistently, I think I think it's a wisdom that will serve you. So keep that in mind, that if something doesn't move the right way, it is because you're not doing one of those blocks. And of course, in the beginning, that's very natural because you don't know everything. So you can't be possibly moving ahead and making leaps in the very beginning because you don't know yet what these certain things are and doing them in a certain way are, okay? And this is all of that we will tackle in ABBA, in our success bundles, because I can really tell you, and I want to share quickly my personal story here, just very, very briefly. I'm not going into the detail, but you know, in the very beginning for me, things were moving extremely slowly. And I was working hard. I was working hard, and when I say working hard, I would say I was working, you know, 15 hours a day, 12 to 18 hours. I mean, every free second I would work into the night, and so I was working so hard, and still things were not moving fast enough, and I had this impatience and this frustration very often, and sometimes just thinking, why is it not working? What am I doing wrong? And I didn't do anything wrong. The fact was only I didn't know all the certain things that I needed to do. And I didn't know about to do them in a certain way. I did them possibly in the old way. And of course, when the knowledge increased and my self-discipline in doing the things the way that successful people do them and not doing them the way that the old me would do them, then that's when I started, you know, seeing the progress and the results in my business. And I can really say it was a long learning curve in the beginning. I would focus on, I wouldn't say the wrong things, but things that were not so important, because I had no one who told me this is what you need and this is what you really don't need. And there was so much information, and it was about trying to understand what really counts and what's not so important. So let me tell you, in the beginning, and some of you may know, in the first year or two, I spent a lot of time on writing blogs. I was writing and writing and writing blogs and writing, you know, writing a book and writing blogs. And I spent a lot of time on that. And then I was spending a lot of time on trying to get traffic onto my website, you know, and trying to rank high in Google. And I thought, okay, I'm running an online business. This is what I need. Oh, let me tell you, that's not what I needed at all. And yet I did it for almost 2 years because I thought that was the right thing, because I had no one else really saying me do this and don't do that. And it just came with additional learning and additional learning and additional learning that I finally, well, cracked the code. And the code is to do certain things in a certain way consistently. So, and this is really the context for today's live hangout, dear ABBA family, because which time of the year is it? I mean, some of you may say, oh, it's October, you know, but which time of the year is it? And in a business context, it's the last quarter of 2018. It's the last quarter. Now, why is that important? Because you see, here's the thing. Nothing in business is random for those who are very successful, we have to say, because of course there are thousands and thousands of businesses, be it in Africa or somewhere else, that struggle. We don't want to create businesses where you struggle, where you feel like you're just making ends meet, or you become a slave in your business. So I want to teach you financial freedom, and I want to teach you how to really, really become successful in a way that you not only uplift yourself and your family, but you also contribute towards the development in Africa, because believe me, we need that so much, not just as a continent, but as the world, you know, as a whole, I would say. So in business, nothing is random. And therefore, now that you become business people, you shouldn't just say, oh, it's October. and you could just go about about your daily activities as you always do. No, it's not just October. We have started the last quarter of 2018, and that is very significant in business, because here it comes. One thing also that I learned from successful people, and it made all the difference when I applied it in my business, is here's one thing: the most important month of the year for these very, very successful entrepreneurs is the month of December. Who would have thought? Most of us are getting, those of us who are celebrating Christmas, we are all stressed out where to celebrate it and what gifts to buy, and Christmas shopping. And I think you have, what is it, Boxing Day or so, I don't know, that's how we call it in the UK. I don't know what you have, like where everyone goes shopping for the last kind of the latest deals. And those of you who don't celebrate Christmas, it's still the end of the year. It's about New Year, and and a lot of us have holidays, including children, those of us who have children, and so on. So really, the December for most of us becomes a month where it looks like there's a lot of activity happening around family and meetings with colleagues from work, the last meeting before the end of the year. And however, the most successful people, they don't rush straight away to that. I'm sure they're doing some of that too, but December is the most important month for their business. And you know why? Because that's when they release and reflect, and they plan for 2019, or they plan for the next year. And because nothing is random, that plan is absolutely crucial. And I remember we had a great live hangout last year on this, and we'll have another powerful live hangout on this one in December. But the planning starts now in the last quarter. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to achieve in December if you are not preparing for it now. So, dear ABBA family, now that you want to become business people, you need to think like business people. And you do need to do things like very successful people. And that is, December is not foremost about gifts and shopping and going out with your colleagues for a drink and I don't know what, celebrating. It is foremost about finalizing and reflecting on the year that has just passed, and then very powerfully planning ahead for 2019. And how exactly to do that, we'll discuss in December. Okay? So, but now starts the preparation for that. And this is what I mean by to do certain things in a certain way consistently. So how do we prepare for December so that when December comes and we're ready to reflect, release, and to plan ahead, it becomes a very dynamic activity, because really we have prepared for it from now on. So let's look at the 3 things that you need to do to be ready in December. And I really want you to also keep that in mind from now on when December comes. And believe me, I will remind you again, if you want this business badly, if you want financial success, financial freedom, if you want to uplift your family, yourself, your family, community, your continent, then don't make December foremost about going for a drink or buying gifts or running for the latest deal in the shops. That's what average people do, okay? And I know it sounds awful, because I've been doing that my whole life, but that's what the masses do. But successful people are not acting like the masses. And so you need to take this very serious. Don't do what you used to do in a way you used to do it. Change it. Chances are that you do exactly what the masses do, you end up like the masses. And therefore, it's all about doing things differently. So let's dive into the 3 things that you need to do to end 2018 on a high. Number one, make a decision that you will end 2018 on a high. And some of you may say, oh, that's obvious. I mean, of course, that's why I attended this live hangout. There's a very big difference of saying, yeah, great, I'm making notes, I'll do this, or actually taking a very conscious, serious decision. Big difference. I want you to do the latter. I don't want you to just take notes today and say, okay, all right, okay, I'll do it, I'll try it. I want you to take a decision consciously that you will end 2018 on a high, and that means to prepare whatever needs to be prepared so that when December comes, you can start your planning process on a high, the January. All right? We don't plan in January. We plan in December so that January, the first month of the year, can be our best month ever. Okay? So take a decision. How does that look like? Well, I would really say, what does it take for you to make a conscious decision? So it could be, for example, that after this live hangout, you sit down, on your own and you say, okay, I, and you say your name, make a conscious decision that I will end 2018 on a high. And then you could write it down. Write it down on a piece of paper. Write it down. I will, or I am ending 2018 on a high. Write it down and put it somewhere where you can see it every single day. Because remember, success is actually, some people say success is 80% mindset and 20% mechanics. I don't know. I would say maybe 50-50. But some of the best in business are saying, no, it's 80% mindset. It's 80% how you do things and how you think about things. So this is crucial. You may think, oh, it doesn't really matter, if I put it on a paper or not. It does, because that's mindset. And therefore, it does matter that you make a conscious decision, that you write it down, that you put it somewhere where you can read it so you're reminded of your decision when you wake up. So make a conscious decision and make it count and remind yourself every day. And you could actually say it in the shower or cooking or whatever you do, or sitting in the traffic jam. I am ending 2018 on a high. All right? Remind yourself, because mindset is plays a crucial role if you will actually see it through, or you're just feeling very excited right now during the live hangout, and then kind of excitement drops and you kind of forget that you wanted to do it. All right? So that's your step number one. I hope you've written it down. Number one was make a conscious decision to end 2018 on a high. Now that you have made a conscious decision, you then go to step number two, which is your action plan of priorities. All right, and I always call it priorities. I don't call it list to do. I call it action plan of priorities. So what are your priorities leading towards the end of this month, this year? Now, I would say the following. Today, we have the 14th. So tomorrow starts Monday, because for some of us it's the end of the day. 15th is the mid of the month. And then we could run the period until the 15th of December. That's where you just act towards your business. After the 15th, you can then go towards release, reflect, and plan. And we will tackle that in December, how to do this exactly. It's very powerful. So I would say, let's take the period, all of us, and I jump into that as well. October 15th to December 15th, that's 8 weeks, all right, or 2 months, probably roughly 8 weeks. 2 month period. Now that is your period. So what are your priorities to do in that month? Now, for those of you who have been with us in the ABBA family from the very beginning of this year, or rather the end of last year, you had your yearly goals all written down. We had gone through the planning exercise. And if you haven't got your goals up to now, then it got lost somewhere. You didn't do it a certain way consistently, doing certain things a certain way consistently. Somewhere in the middle, it got lost and you didn't do it. Don't beat yourself up, but have that awareness that if you say, oh yeah, I remember we did that live hangout, but really I don't really have any goals, then, well, somewhere you lost it. And that's just self-awareness that, okay, next year I will do better, or end of this year and next year I will do better with that. Now, for those of you who have these goals, we started with the end in mind. We said, okay, by end of December, what do I want to have achieved? Now look at those goals again. And your priorities for these next 2 months are to do what's ever necessary to work towards those end goals. And that's similar for the most of you. So what you need to look at now is, all right, what do I really want to have achieved, or what do I need to achieve by mid-December or by December in order to set me up on a strong foot in January? Now, what I would suggest is that you come up with 3 priorities, maximum. If you have 1, great. If you have 2, great. Maximum of 3 priorities. So I don't want you to have a to-do list with 20 items. Have a list of 3 priorities, all right? So your mind can focus. And then, okay, under some of the priorities, you can have some sub-activities, you know, what it would take. And so be aware what we want here. The priorities are things that would set you on a strong foot in January 2019. So that really means that it includes to have your product or your service. If you don't have it, if you don't know it yet, then you better go straight into the brainstorming and the research to get it. If you're working on it, then you go into it to finish it. What needs to be done so I can have my product, my service ready in place? All right? So product, service, that's important. Then the second one is, all right, the marketing for those of you who have your products and service already, because some of you do. What is the marketing strategy? Once you have your product and service ready, what needs to be in place so I can market the hell out of it? And I can actually start making sales. So I would really break it down to that. And I really mean it. I would say product and service, get that ready. And number 2 is, for those of you who are a little bit advanced in this regard, you have your product service already, the marketing strategy. Get everything in place that you need to start marketing. And we can discuss your marketing strategy, you know, during Q&As or during at the networking foyer. So here again, focus on those things. And the marketing strategy, of course, means sales. All right, it means sales. You're setting up the marketing strategy out there in order to make a sale. So it is a strategy that includes a sale in the very end. And by the way, yeah, well, I don't want to overwhelm you, so I'll leave that. So really, for those of you who are saying, okay, what's my priority? I mean, what can I do? Don't fill it up with stuff. It is straightforward. You need a product and a service, and you need a marketing strategy. And part of that marketing strategy is to have your sales pitch properly done. You need, sales pitch means elevator pitch. It means what are you about? And to know exactly who your target audience is. Otherwise, you can't market properly. Okay, who are you targeting? And again, you know, this is what something we have discussed. We will discuss it again and again in ABBA. If you have questions, ask. That's why we're here. And I hope you can narrow it down like that. And I hope it helps you to narrow down. And that's it. And then that's it. So you come up with your list of priorities towards your product and service, or design, development, finishing it, having it in your hands, whatever it is, getting it ready. And then for those of you who have that or who are almost there, you work on the marketing strategy. Now, this was step number 2. And the last step is called step number 3. And it's my favorite step. And those of you who have been in ABBA for a while know, and I will tell you again and again, because it's one of the most important. And it's called take massive action. Take massive action. All right? And the massive action is usually the action where we feel very uncomfortable. We feel the discomfort. We feel it's a lot. We feel scared. We feel out of our comfort zone. So let me tell you what massive action is and what impact it has. I first came across that about 3 years ago or something like about 3 years ago. And so there was the concept of take massive action. And I'm like, okay, what's massive action? I mean, I've been working, like a headless chicken. Okay, I've been working so hard, going here and there and everything that needs to be done. And I worked so hard. What is massive action now? Well, here's what massive action is. This is how it's defined. Massive action is to act in a way and on a scale that the average person would never act upon. So taking massive action in a way that the average person would never do it. And so let me give you an example from my own business and also from some ABBA members. It really made all the difference for me when I came across the concept of taking massive action, because I was working hard. I never rested, to be very honest. But then there came this concept of massive action. Do it on a level that the average person would never do. Okay, I was working hard, but the level of the things that I would engage in was nothing that would be completely out of your comfort zone. So when I came across this, I said, okay, I'll do that. And so I don't want to go into detail of everything that I did, but I just give you a quick example. One thing that I said is, this is it. I'm just going to put together a bootcamp event. And I'm not going to do a little event in my backyard in Frankfurt or in London. I'll do 3 events. And I'll do them in London, and I'll do them in Washington, and I'll do them in California. And I have no idea how the hell I'm going to fill those events. And I'm already scared with just doing 1. Now I'm going to do 3 of them. And I'm going to book the hotels and the venues, and I'm just going to be out there and market it. And come whatever, I will somehow fill these rooms. And I can tell you, I will never forget, because I was completely out of my comfort zone. I'm going to America. Never done an event in America. So on top of it, I'm doing it now in Washington and California. And I didn't know how it will happen. I just decided that it will. And that I will do whatever it takes to fill those rooms. So that's what I did. And I can tell you, I will never forget when I finished the one in California, which was the last one. I did London, Washington, D.C., and California. And that was, that was in 2016, by the way. Not too long ago, all right? Oh my God. When they say business goes like this, and then it ends, suddenly it shoots, that's what happened, all right? That's what happened. I never forget the day when I finished the boot camp in California, and I went to my hotel room, and I did a crazy dance in front of the mirror. I will never forget that moment, okay? I'm earning much, 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 much more now, okay? Much more. But just that, finally, just that feeling of, wow, I did the crazy dance in front of the mirror on my own. All right, I will never forget that moment. I've never earned that much, and yeah, that's it. So I earned during those few days doing a few boot camps what I used to earn in an entire year. Okay, so now my business has even doubled and doubled and doubled, but I'm talking just about the moment where I heard about that concept of taking massive action, where you take massive action on a level that the average person would not do it. And you know what? It worked. And you actually have to take massive action consistently throughout the year. And when you look at my income over the year, and it doesn't matter which year it was, when 2016, 2017, or 2018, this year has been phenomenal for me. It was a very good year because I'm more disciplined. I'm learning even more. And so wherever you see spikes in my income, like you see spikes, I mean, the income doesn't go, see spikes where income is really high. I tell you what, those are the months where I took massive action. Right? And they don't just bring a lot of income, but they also bring a lot of momentum into my business. So they bring business growth. So for those of you who have hardly started, I know that it can feel out, okay, I mean, what can I possibly do? I don't even have a product, or I haven't started production, or whatever that is. That's fine. Within your context, take massive action. And that means do something that's out of your comfort zone. Let me share, quickly one day, a quick story with one of our ABBA members. And I don't know, it was with Glenn. I don't know if you're in the room, Glenn. But this was in the beginning of this year. And we talked about the 3 months planning, so January to March. And then Glenn said something like, okay, I'm going to go to certain coffee shops because he wanted to start importing coffee. I think he's since changed that, but that's fine. So because he's an IT expert, and I think he went into IT. So, but I remember during that time, and Glenn, if you're in the room, you will remember that you said something like, all right, March, okay, until March, I can do probably a couple of coffee shops each month. So it was like, until March, it was like 4 or 5 coffee shops, or 6 or something like that. And then I said, Glenn, this is not, that's not called taking massive action. Massive action is to do 10 each week, to go out there to 10 coffee shops each week. That means in the month of January, you will do 30 to 40. That's massive action, because most people would do 3 or 4, and then if it doesn't work, they would give up. That's average. And that's not massive action. So massive action is to do something on an extent that you would not normally do. And I'll tell you something, you can't, although you say you have, or you have to take massive action consistently throughout the year, you can't actually do it constantly, because it is on such a high, you actually need that rest in between to gear up for the next massive action project. Okay, but now over the next 2 months, I want you to take massive action. Don't do average, don't do comfortable, take massive action, and you will feel the difference, because it means you will be able to start the new year on a high. And January last year, by the way, when I did exactly that, I took massive action in the end of the year, and I was very strict with my planning and everything. And January 2019 was one of my best months, and that's not by chance. It is because I geared up to it, and I want that for you. It is so important, even symbolically, how the rest of the year will, turn out. And I don't want you to go into 2019 just on an average level, to say, all right, okay, so, like you've been maybe doing the last 2-3 months. I want you to finish on a high and start on a high. Okay? So take massive action, and today in the Q&A we will talk exactly about what that means for your business. So I want you to actually ask, all right, you know, these are the challenges I have in my business. I'm stuck here, or I'm doing this at the moment, this is what I'm working on, and you know, give me examples. What are your massive action steps? Maybe you're not sure, maybe you want feedback. So I think this is something we need to tackle during the Q&A so that you can actually do the right thing. And yeah, that's it. Let me summarize in a few sentences. So today, dear ABBA family, we've learned that success is not random. There is a formula. Success is doing certain things in a certain way consistently. And that means that planning is a very, very important aspect of how you go about your time and your activities. Now we're not just in October. Now we're in the last quarter of 2018. That is a very important time to set you up for great success in January 2019. And you don't want to start planning that in January. You start planning that in December. We'll do it together. And now we're preparing for that, okay? Number one, I want you to take a very conscious decision that you will end 2018 on a high, come whatever once, you know? And number two is that you write down a list of your priorities. It can be a top 1 priority, 2 or 3, not more. Not a list of 20 things to do. This is not a to-do list. This is your action plan, top priorities. They should be around product design, product development, product design, finishing your product or service, and then the marketing strategy if you're already advanced. You know, it depends on where you are in your business. So some of you, I know, you can come up with a very strong marketing and sales strategy because you have a product already or you're in business already. Focus on that. And step number 3 is within that, take massive action. Take massive action. You have only 2 months. You can do that. Take massive action. This is the kind of action that you would normally not take and an average person would normally not take. And that will set you up on a high at the end of this year, and then we'll meet in December and we'll talk about reflecting, releasing, and planning ahead 2019. It will be one of your most important live hangouts in the year. So I hope you found a lot of great value in this, and let's move to Q&A. I'm going to go on gallery view. All right. Excellent. So that's it. I would say, first of all, whatever questions you have, first of all, I'm taking questions in the context of what we had learned and heard about today, okay? So it's all about your questions in regards to making a decision, setting your priorities, and taking massive action. And the microphone is yours. Take the mic as always. I don't always see everyone raising the hand because I have several pages here. Not everyone is fitting in one page. Try my best. Grab the microphone, or I'll see if I can see rising hands as well. Okay, who goes first? Remember, if you feel like I really want to ask something, but I don't want to go first, what else do we exercise here in ABBA? If you feel out of your comfort zone, great. That's why you grab the mic as the first one. All right, who goes first? Okay, Yumeta. Yes, please, Yumeta. I can't see you on the second page. Just grab the microphone. I can't see you at the moment, Yumeta. So just grab the microphone, please.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Wonderful. Yes, go ahead, please.
Hi, Abba family. So, well, I haven't taken advantage of the Facebook because somehow I just have a login problem. But anyway, over the months, my sister and I, who are part of the Abba family, have been working on a deal in our home country, Liberia, where now we have complete turmoil, economic turmoil there with missing money from the central bank and so forth. So we kind of sort of have to.
Yeah, Yumeta, we lost you.
What we
Okay, you're
did
back.
was we were able to. We are actually into solar irrigation. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
We were into solar irrigation, and we were able to secure not only land, but the representative from a specific area donated 25 acres to us, one. And two, we have a problem with pepper shortage in our country during the dry season because people aren't really farming during the dry season. And so with solar irrigation and a solar dryer, we would be able to disrupt the pepper market within 2 years. There are two representatives in the area who had funding that were able to support our project, but now we have to defer. So we want to take massive action. We're also have been in Ghana, and we've been working around meeting people in Ghana for a couple of products. One is shea butter, and we've talked to a couple of communities there in terms of the import, in terms of the export business of that. Now, we're going now in December to see how we can contract entire village saving groups of women that are into shea butter harvesting, and see how we can create a market for that. We know that we can sell it here in America a lot quicker than in Europe. My sister is in the UK and I'm here in the US. So I just want to encourage everybody that not only should you have a plan, but also have a backup plan. Because you know, the solar irrigation will be phenomenal and is forward thinking for Liberia specifically because there's more subsistence farming than commercial farming. But the shea butter market, which is well known in the United States, I think we can make some strides with that.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Yumeta. Okay. So very quickly, just to confirm, so you have actually given up on the business venture in Liberia for the time being, and you want to focus on shea butter export, well, imports really from Ghana to the US and UK, correct?
Yeah, we're just deferring it. We haven't given up on it. We're deferring it because we want a little bit more security and stability before going back.
Sure.
And
All right. Sure.
The Ghanaian market is very familiar to us as well. So, you know, I'm there twice a year. And
so may I ask you, Meta? So, the shea butter, is that like an alternative you're looking into now, or you only doing it because the pepper didn't work? Can you tell me a little bit more about that? And then your question also in terms of maybe, do you know exactly what to do next, or do you feel stuck in certain ways?
Yeah, we're the channels, the distribution channels is what we're actually stuck with. We will have the product, we have money for the product, but it's the distribution channel in terms of bringing it here or to the UK. That's where we're kind of stuck.
With the shea butter?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So
all
basically,
right.
what we the reason why shea butter is it's a sideline. It looks like a sideline, but it's also basically part of our entire project where we're packaging pepper to be more competitive for institutional buyers in Liberia itself, and
Right.
we're also will do packaging for the shea butter. So basically, we are trying to develop a packaging company that can distribute products that we select for institutional buyers in those local, in the countries we're working in and overseas.
All right, Yumeta. Here's a little bit of feedback, and it's very interesting. What you've been working on. Of course, Liberia, as you probably knows, it doesn't fall under the low risk, high opportunity markets, and this is exactly the kind of scenario that we see, and this is why. And it's fine because a lot of us still want to try doing business at home. So I'm just saying it as an awareness among everyone again, that this unfortunately is exactly what can happen, and this is why they are higher risk markets, and these are the kind of risks you will come across, and therefore you cut those risks down significantly, starting out in a low risk, high opportunity market, such as Ghana, for example, when we talk about West Africa. And then you move into the higher markets later on, once you have a cash flow and a product, and you know exactly what you're doing. So in terms of the strategy, the approach, it is much more powerful to start off in the low risk market, to get set up there, and then to expand into higher risk markets if you so wish, for example, because they are your home country. But that just very quickly, I really want to focus on the products. Now, I can see you've done a lot in Liberia with the pepper and the pepper drying and solar irrigation and so on, which I think is fantastic because it's quite high in demand in the market. Now, one thing that I realize here, and I just want to give you that feedback, is that pepper, if you import pepper and you import shea butter, in the West, be it in US or UK, completely different markets, completely different value chains, completely different stakeholders, completely different markets.
We didn't want to, I'm sorry, we're not taking pepper out of Liberia. We wanted to saturate our own market to fulfill a need. There was a need within the country.
Oh, you want to bring pepper into? What did you want?
No, not bringing pepper into. We have pepper farmers that do not farm during the dry season.
Right.
And we were trying to equip them with new technology to be able to farm all year round, to disrupt the import of pepper from neighboring country like Guinea, which puts the prices of pepper up by 300%. So we weren't taking pepper out of Liberia. We didn't need it
for the local market. But nevertheless, I got you. But nevertheless, understood. And usually, once you actually produce for the local market, export is the next big thing for any cooperative or so that you may have. But still, just as a feedback, still pepper is completely different product than shea butter in terms of, because you need to do the research, you need to understand the product, you need to understand the value chain, the stakeholders, the dynamics. So just as some feedback, I think it would be good to, if that's really your big goal, the solar irrigation and the pepper drying and disrupting the pepper market, I would do something with pepper, or at least spices, in another country, for example, Ghana. Because that means then whatever you do there, it is not a new business or a new product or a new value. Whatever you do there, you will take that learning, that knowledge, those contacts, everything. You can actually take that and apply it in Liberia as well once you go back. So that's just some feedback that I think you would maybe want to reflect on.
Okay.
So staying in the pepper industry or the spices industry, in my view, would possibly be a better way. But quickly, the shea butter, of course, Ghana is a good country, one of the best countries. Just quickly, you said you're going to go in December. And I think what you can do now, you and your sister, in regards to massive action, is to really come up with potential buyers here. So it is a very big plan to go to Ghana and trying to set up, let's say, a cooperative of, women who collect the nuts and then process it into shea butter. What you could do is start with people who are producing the shea butter already. And later, you don't need them anymore, but it would give you easy entry into the market. So instead of having the main goal of setting up your own group or your own cooperative, because getting that right takes a lot of time. And it will take time until you actually can start selling. So my suggestion would be that you focus very much in the US, for example, as you said, on potential buyers. You look for a potential seller in Ghana, so you can start that process. You understand the value chain, you understand your buyer's needs. And while that is gets going and you're actually making some income, then you can move towards the more in-depth step, which would be to set up your own production group. Does that make sense, you, Meta?
Yeah. I think I wasn't the only thing. Yeah, it's definitely in line with what we thought, but I don't think I was clear. We're not developing or designing or creating cooperatives. We're actually getting the supply from women who have a cooperative, who are already doing shea butter.
Okay,
so
all
we're
right.
not creating anything.
Okay,
Yeah, we're just contracting with them.
Contracting with them. Okay, fine. So because you have some time until December, I would really use that time to get to know, understand potential buyers. So for example, one thing very quickly that I found is that, of course, a lot of the buyers a lot of the suppliers of hair products and skincare products in the US, a lot of them actually don't get the shea butter directly from Ghana. They buy it somewhere, purchase it somewhere in the US, and I'm sure you're aware of it. But you can take massive action in that regard. So basically what I want to say in closing is, don't wait until December. Try to take massive action beforehand so that when you go in December, you already know exactly where this fits in and you can start marketing and selling.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so to work on your marketing strategy really and your sales strategy before you actually go.
Okay.
Yeah?
Definitely. Yes. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, who is next, please? Grab the microphones. I'm not sure who is next? Just grab the microphones. All right, what is this? No questions? Can't be. All right, who is next? Come on. Someone's struggling. Let me see in the chat. There's nothing in the chat either. All right. So if everyone knows exactly what to do. Okay. Someone is raising their hand. Let me see. Otherwise, we would have closed the session now. Who is Maxine? Yes, please, Maxine. I can't see you. Just grab the microphone. Can't see you in the room. Too many people. Just grab the microphone. Maxine, I can't see you. Oh, here you are. All right, let me unmute you. Okay, go ahead, Maxine.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Hi, Maxine. Yes, please. Go ahead.
Oh, hi there. Okay, so I actually just jumped on the call 10 minutes ago, but I'm just assuming you just want us to chat about where we're at and you could provide some assistance, I presume?
Well, not really. We actually had a very in-depth, I think we actually had a very, in-depth session. Maxine, what I would say is, because I want ABBA members to ask in the context of what we've just tackled, but I'll take your question in the end. Is that okay?
Okay, no problem.
Okay, great. Thank you for understanding. So we can stay on the topic. All right, who is next? Let's see who was next. Who's next? Yes, please. Who is that?
This is Omar.
Omar. Yes, please. Go ahead, Omar. Great.
Hi. So I just finished the modules for the importing series with which you provided. I'm interested in importing coffee from East Africa because I plan on relocating to Tanzania. I plan on moving there, and I'm looking for a business with which I can go back and forth from Seattle, where I'm located now, to Tanzania. And I noticed that you had supplies for coffee, which were from Rwanda, from Kenya, as well as Uganda. Seattle is a very large consumer base and market for coffee. It's where Starbucks was created and all of that. So I'm interested in inputting. So to have a basic question that reflects the lesson here, what would constitute massive action for coffee importation for Seattle that I can implement within the next month or so to be on the other level that you talked?
Let me know. You just start. Have you already taken any steps, or just fine? You're at the very start.
I'm at the very start.
Okay, good. All right, great. All right, Omar, very good question. So what massive action steps to take in regards to your coffee importing business? So 2 things. First of all, actually getting the coffee samples from Tanzania. So you're very particular about Tanzania. I may be able to make a personal introduction to someone. He's not featured on mykibo.com yet, but if you email me, Omar, then I will introduce you to someone who is a Tanzanian here in Germany, selling his Tanzanian coffee, and he may be able to assist in regards to getting samples quickly. Yeah, so email me and we'll get in touch with Alan. So this is number 1 would be to do everything it takes to get the samples into your home as quickly as possible. While the samples are on their way, the other thing that you then need to do is, who are your target clients in Seattle? So coffee is a huge industry, you know, and it is really about understanding what is the Tanzanian coffee all about, and which target group in Seattle would want that coffee, even if it's more expensive. So your coffee may be fair trade, your coffee may be organic, your coffee may be single destination. That means, you know, it is roasted in Tanzania. Or so there may be all these aspects to it. And of course, that will be a coffee of a certain standard. So if you're going to a certain, I don't know, bed and breakfast, you know, they don't care where their coffee comes from. They just want cheap. And so the first thing is to do, actually, don't think about, are you talking about Seattle the state or Seattle?
Washington State, Seattle's the city.
That's what I meant. Look, I'm from Europe. That's what I meant. Washington State, Seattle the city, in Washington State. Yes. Okay. So so the good thing is, yeah, start with your city. All right. So around you in your neighborhood, what kind of potential buyers are there? All right, that would want whatever it is, the fair trade, the organic, the single origin, and so on, and would be prepared to pay more for it. So it could be higher end hotels, it could be fair trade coffee shops. So what you need to do now, number 1, Omar, is you actually need to start identifying your ideal client and then researching where in Seattle they are. Once you've done that, you need to come up with your elevator pitch. That means, hi, I am Omar, you know, and this is what I do. And then you present your product, the coffee, and what it stands for. You can share that with me in the networking foyer. So you get that right. And then you email them, you phone them, you pass by, you talk to the manager of the shop, of the hotel, of the restaurant, whatever it is, and you do 20 of them. All right. In fact, you can start that research before you have your coffee in the house. Yeah. So I would really say this is brilliant, massive action. Getting the samples into your house, researching who exactly your target client is, coming up with the elevator pitch. That's the communication, if it's written or verbal. That needs to they need to feel like you're approaching them, and they need to feel like, oh my God, I need you. You know? So it should be something that really fits their agenda, their ethics, their standards. And then you reach out to 20 of them. I would, you know, that's a good number, 20. Phone, email, visiting them, follow up. If you don't hear from them, you know, follow up by phone, pass by. If they say no thank you, ask why, get the feedback, you know, and then try also offer them some samples that you leave for free. If you do that until the 15th of December, I mean, you may already have expressions of interest. That's it. You can start selling in January. Yeah, and I would really start, Omar, very importantly, I would start with an existing brand. An existing coffee brand. I would start that way, not thinking about doing your own brand, because that takes a lot of time. You can always do that later. Just get the entry with an existing brand, or even roasted coffee in sacks or whatever, you know, in bulk. So the easiest entry, this is for all of you guys. Don't start with the most difficult entry. Start with the easiest entry, and then always become more complex later on. Omar, what do you think? Do you think that's doable?
Yes, it is.
You're ready to take massive action until December 15?
I'm ready.
I'll see you in that meeting. Very happy and looking forward to, you know, what came up.
Definitely.
Excellent. And by the way, to all of you who are doing inputs, I'm waiting for these success stories so that I can actually film you and say, oh, wow, he did it. And then you become the success story for other people who are still wondering why they are in a boring job. Okay? All right. Wonderful, Omar. So email me in regards to the Tanzanian coffee. All right, great. Who is next, please? Who is next, dear Abba family? Let's get going. Who is, okay, a few people are writing here. Let's see. All right, Elizabeth, what are you saying? Oh, I think I need to scroll up. Hold on. Scroll up. Okay, first was Elizabeth, then Latoya. Elizabeth, my massive action is to start investment in Kenya. Holiday apartments. Has anyone else decided to invest in Kenya apartments? By the way, Elizabeth, this is a question you can ask in the networking foyer. I'm starting the holiday apartments. Has anyone decided to do just that? And let's see. And I actually I will make a video myself on the Kenya investments, just some feedback. So I'll start in the networking foyer. Right. Okay. Yeah, Elizabeth, just follow up with Tom. I think he's a bit overwhelmed because he's running a full-time business and he's getting a lot of questions from ABBA members, and he's a very detailed guy, which I love about him. He doesn't just give a one-line answer. He gives like a very detailed answer with numbers and everything. And so I think it takes him a little bit time to get back. Just email him again. We're still in touch, so he's around. All right, Latoya, I was very interested, but I still have a lot of questions. I didn't inquire, but still have not decided if, okay, if you don't have your idea yet, Latoya, then I think your massive action will be your decision for all those of you who don't actually know what they're doing yet. Here it is. By the 15th of December, you will have decided everything on the business model, on the product, on the service. You have decided. So, because you see, here's the thing. If you just say, I really don't know what I want to do, and this is normal in the beginning, but if this has already been going on for a few months, why don't you take the December to actually make that decision? Because otherwise you will just, you know, you will just float around like that into January and then February and then March, and you still haven't made a decision. So I would say, if you don't know yet what you want to do, then you should do a lot of massive brainstorming sessions with yourself. And you come up with your product, your service, and your business model by the 15th of December. All right, who is next? All right, who is next? Grab the microphone. Let's see what you're working on. Who is next? Oh, wow. That's like a, can you see the energy? It is a very like settled, not sure, end of the year energy. Where's the power? Where's the teeth? Where's the ambition? Where's the, yeah, let's do this. Come on, guys. Come on. Who is next? All right. Oh, Rahel, just in time, I was just about to say, we're closing the session. It's your loss. Rahel saved you. All right. So I can't see you. Grab the microphone, please. And then we have Maxine as well in the end. Maxine, I haven't forgotten you. All right. Shamir says, can you talk a little bit more about the advice you gave to Omar? All right. All right. So Rahel is first. Please grab the microphone. Where are you, Rahel? I can't see you. Okay. Yes, I can hear you now. Excellent. Go ahead.
Good. So I've been thinking about the affiliate programs that you talked about in terms of tourism. And I think it was in Kenya, if I'm not mistaken. It was called Wakanao or something like that. If I can remember it correctly, one of the tourism agencies that you mentioned.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So I kind of like wanted to take that further, but I'm not so sure how to get started and what even to do. And I was wondering, maybe, you can talk about that a little bit more.
Yes, sure, Rahel, sure. Okay, great. So in regards to tourism affiliation or, marketing tours that are already out there, we have, we have that company that I mentioned. I think I mentioned it in the one that you're mentioning now. That was from the webinar, I guess, right?
Yes, it was,
yes, exactly. So that one, they already had an affiliate program set up. And then we have Tom, who did the live hangout. He also has tours, and you can partner with him. And now I'm actually already in talks with a company in Ghana who does also tours. They do tours in Ghana and in other African countries.
Right.
So just to let you know that is also coming up. And we're traveling to Rwanda next month. Who knows if something comes up from there. But the one on Ghana, we're going to add soon. So just very quickly now.
Yeah.
What it really is, Rahel, you don't need to design or develop a tour because it's already existing.
Yeah.
So for you, it is to kind of figure out who would buy these tours, who are these people, where can I find them, and how can I reach out to them to market.
Okay.
This is really the big apple for you to chew. So now a lot you can find out by actually talking to the owners of the tour, all right, the managers of the tour, because they will say to you, for example, oh, one of some of our best clients are from the US, some of our best clients are from, I don't know, the Middle East, or British people, they like to come during the summer, and then I don't know, the Americans like to come during the winter season. So I'm just making this up, by the way. So I would say that, and you're based in the UK, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. So Rahel, I would say that you reach out to them saying that you are interested in becoming an affiliate partner for the UK market.
Okay.
And really just focus on the UK, not Europe, not whatever, UK.
Okay.
It's a good market and you're based there.
Yes.
So then I would say that you ask them, okay, British customers, tell me something more about them. Ask those managers, because they will know. They will know their preferences. They will know what time of the year they travel. So you can actually find out a lot by just asking these people who have been in the tourism industry for a while. So that's the first step that I would take. Mm-hmm. The second step then is to, you have some understanding of, what the British go for. Do some more research in that regard, because there are certain trends. So we can see general trends in the travel industry, and then we can see certain trends for certain countries. So this is something else that I would research. Look for these trends, research them online, and then see where else you could find something out like that. For example, what I would do if I was you is to research some travel expos or conferences, exhibitions that go on, that happen in the UK. See if you can find some of these towards, now until towards the end of the year.
Okay.
Because these are great spaces to understand the British travel agent industry. Everyone who does tourism will be there. And then it helps you to understand, what do they offer? Where are the gaps? You may find people who offer something in regards to Africa.
Okay.
Or you may find that they're not around at all. Either way, it is a big part of your research. And then you can actually actually communicate with these people who are already in the British travel agency and ask more questions. So first, you got the questions, you got the answers from the African tour operators. Now you're going on the other side. You get the answers from the people who work in British tourism.
I see.
And you find out more about the market. Once you have that, so I think it really starts with understanding the tourism industry in the UK. So once you've done that, and that is massive action if you would travel towards certain expos or conferences on tourism. And if they're not, if you're in London, they're not in London. If you travel even up to, Manchester or so, that's massive action in my books. To research. And then now you have a good understanding. Now, after you have this good understanding, you need to decide, okay, where are the gaps that I want to fill? Where are the gaps that I want to fill? And who in Great Britain will buy the kind of holidays that I will offer, be it in Kenya or in Ghana? And it shouldn't be Kenya and Ghana. It should be either or. To start with. And then you will understand who would be your potential buyer, your best buyer. Who are these people? Are these, Black British people? Are these, are these African diaspora at large? Are these rich British people? Are these youngsters in their 20s? Who are these guys? Are they? So that's what you need to understand. And once you have done that, you then need to see, your next step is to understand, where do I find them? So if you find out, the best buyers for me would really be the African diaspora, then they hang out somewhere completely different from, I don't know, the typical, elderly British couple.
Yeah.
Right? So your next question will be, where can I find them? Online and offline, especially online. And
because that's where I was kind of like planning to focus anyway.
Online, exactly. Excellent. Then you see, where do I reach them best? How do I package my offering so it stands out? It needs to stand out in a way that people are like, wow, that I've been looking for this. I want this. I'm interested in this. And then you can use wherever they hang out. I mean, you use the online channels that are available to you. It could be YouTube, it could be Facebook, it could be LinkedIn, to reach out to them, and possibly other areas offline where you can reach out to them.
Okay.
And then it's creating your marketing strategy and your sales funnel really to them in an online way. But that is the last step. Can you see that?
Yeah. So first do the research, but then before that, you're saying I should contact the agencies in Africa.
Yes.
And then go from there.
Yes. The reason why you need to contact them first thing is because you need to understand what they offer, and you need to understand their experiences with British tourists.
I understand.
That is a wealth of knowledge. You don't want to assume. They already, for example, if we're looking at Tom, he's been in business for, 15 years or something. Yeah. So he knows what the British want and what the British are happy to pay for.
Yeah. And do you think I should talk to Tom as well then in that instance?
Yeah, I think what I would do is I would reach out, if you want to focus on East Africa or Kenya in particular, and you have these two options, reach out to both of them
Yeah.
Because while communicating with them, you will also see, okay, I can work better with that person, or I can work better with that person, or that offer is better than that offer. So I would reach out to both of them and then make a decision in the end.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
In any case, if I need any more information or any help, then I will just,
absolutely. The networking for you.
Yes, I will
all
do.
the time. All right,
Thank
Rahel.
you so much, Doctor.
Okay, you're welcome. And at the end of this is very important, Rahel, for all of you, by the way. Don't just randomly come up with activities. I mean, this is not random. I gave you, of course, a structure, but what will help for all of you is by December 15th, where do I want to see myself?
Yeah.
All right. What clarity do I want to have? Which momentum will I want to have? And where do I want to reach? And then you reverse engineer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. All right. We'll take 2 more and then we'll close the session. So we had, let me see, and Maxine, I haven't forgotten you. You are, all right. So Wubishet is asking, how about importing honey from East Africa to Europe? Do you have experience? No, I don't have experience in this regard. Of course, honey imports, it is not easy. It needs to, what I would say, here's what I would say, Wubishet. I would go for a honey producer who has already exported from Africa into Europe, because honey is a product that goes through a lot of tests and restrictions. And I would do it with someone who is already experienced. So we have reached out to honey producers in Kenya. We haven't heard back from them. Nevertheless, maybe they didn't want to be on the platform. I have actually the names and the contact details of these honey producers. And what I can do, Wubishet, if you go on the networking foyer on our Facebook group, I will share these contacts with you. And you take it from there. Just reach out to them and get a sample if you're interested. But do it with those who are already exporting to Europe. All right. All right. Hold on. Now we're taking, of course, I want to take your questions. Now we're taking, there was one on the phone, something phone. There was no name. And then there was Maxine. Maxine, please take the microphone. Maxine, please take the microphone. And then the other one who was raising their hands as well, Galaxy Neo as well. I don't know who is behind that phone. Just one of you, just take the microphone. Hello. All right. So whoever is next is next. Who goes next on the microphone? All right, then let me read out another question. You just need to unmute yourself. Okay, I can hear someone unmuting themselves. Who is it? No. All right. Nelly. Hello, Dr. Hannah. I would like to start importing tea and coffee from Rwanda, Kenya, and Tanzania, and Ethiopia. All right. Great, Nelly. I'll stop you right there. Tea or coffee, one country. That's to get started. Oh, okay. I would like to brand them and start by selling them online. How do I identify companies in these countries that can package the products for me? I also work for a large supermarket. Okay, great. All right, Nelly, wonderful. So here's what I would say. Step number 1, you start with one product. I can see the enthusiasm and it makes very much sense later on to add. Start with one product. So decide you start with either tea or coffee. All right? Later on, once you are set up with one, it's all running, you're making money, cash is coming in, you know what you're doing, then you can add the second product. And I like tea and coffee is the same industry, so that makes sense. And then again, not from Rwanda, Kenya, and Tanzania and Ethiopia, one country. All right. So Nelly, I would say the first step for you is to make a couple of decisions: tea or coffee, and which country. You can access that on mykibo.com. Now, as you all know, as ABBA members, you get like a 60%, I think, a 60% of that. So that is basically my Importing from Africa program, where you get the whole course, the training, if you have never done it. And you get access to mykibo.com, which is our platform for these suppliers. And you can find these suppliers there. We don't have anyone from Ethiopia. We have, and no one from Tanzania at the moment. We have Rwanda, Kenya, and Uganda in regards to what you're looking for. But as I said, like for Omar, I can put you in touch with someone from Tanzania if it has to be Tanzania. Yeah, and you can also just get mykibo.com, and that's a different program, but as an ABBA member, you get a discount if you buy the whole Importing from Africa program. So this is the first thing, because you asked me how can I get access to these suppliers, and this is the best way. Unless you just want one supplier. If you just want one supplier, you know what? I'll share the details with you, of course. We have even Gorilla Coffee. We have them featured at ABBA. So if you just want one supplier, that's it. Just write on the networking foyer which tea or coffee, which country, and I share the details of the supplier with you. All right, Nelly? Okay. All right, Valerie. All right, Valerie. Oh, that doesn't apply for, you see, the Importing from Africa program, when it was launched very, very new, the old ABBA members got it for free, right? You are one of them. And everyone else gets 60% off. So I always give gifts to the ABBA members, and those of you who have been here in the past, in the very beginning, this was before we launched it. You got the beta version. All right, to test it. All right, so Galaxy, and go ahead, Galaxy.
Go ahead, Galaxy.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, but there's an echo.
Can everyone
Yes,
hear
but
me?
there's an echo.
No, we can't hear you because there's an echo. You need to use headphones.
No, we can't hear you.
Okay.
You need to use headphones. No,
I'm trying to mute
hear
let me mute everyone.
Hello?
Okay, dear Galaxy, I don't know actually who is behind that, because it already only says Galaxy. I muted you because we can hear everything double, so we can't hear you. You need to use headphones. So unless you have headphones, you know, you can put your question in writing otherwise, because we can't hear everything because of the echo. All right? All right. So Maxine, are you still in the room? Oh, I hope you didn't need to leave, because I said I will take it in the end.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, Maxine. Oh, you are the one on the Galaxy. All right. So Maxine, this is you. You need to put it in writing, okay? I'm sure, I'm glad you're still in the room, but you need to put it in writing because there is a bad echo. So put your question quickly on writing, and we take one more question, Maxine's, and one more, and then we close the session. Who goes last?
I would like to, if possible, please, as Sassy.
Yes, Sassy. Welcome.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Oh, should I go before Maxine or after?
Yeah, she needs to sort out her headphone or write it down. So please go ahead, Sassy.
Okay, okay. So I'm struggling with and creating an action plan. So as you know, I've moved over to the online course. Do I need to worry about where I register the business? Do I register it in Ghana with the intention to launch in Nigeria? If it's online, why should I focus only on Nigeria? What if people from the West want to do the course? These are all questions that are just swimming around in my mind and kind of stopping me from doing anything. And another thing that I'm thinking of is, should I start off with just making body lotions first of all as a course, and then develop that into shower gels, spa products, hair products, or do I try to create a course for everything at once?
Okay, great questions. Okay, very quickly. I'm just making a couple of notes.
No worries. So I just kind of threw everything at you because that's kind of how my brain is working at the moment.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I noticed, by the way. And that's not a problem, but I noticed that straight away. And so so the first thing that I would say, Sassy, is let's start with, let's say December 15 is here and it's the end of the year. Where would you love to see yourself by end of the year?
By the end of the year, I ideally would like to have the course completed and ready to maybe make the first sale in January, as in to start not the academic year, but to start the year of the course to be in January. But I don't know if that is realistic.
Okay, fantastic. No, fantastic. And can you see everyone? This is for everyone. Because Sassy came like, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? And we'll answer all of it, Sassy, in a minute. But it makes a big difference for Sassy to say, okay, by December 15th or by the end of the year, ideally, I want to actually have the course in place, ready to be sold. Okay? And that is a very, very important decision. It's a fantastic goal, and it will take a lot of massive action to get there. Now, here's what I would say, Sassy. When to register and how to register, that is not the kind of massive action you need to get that course ready. I'll answer it, but these are the wrong questions taking up a lot of your brain energy. You know what I mean, yeah?
Yeah.
So what I would, I answer them, so you have a bit of a peace of mind, but now you said it very clearly, you actually know what you want. You said, ideally, by the end of this year, I want my course to be ready so I can sell it in January. Fantastic. So your main action points would be, first of all, who is this course for? Who is this course for? And this is very, very important, because how you put your training together will depend on who is this course for. Now, you said you wanted to focus on Nigeria, great market, because they actually buy online. It's very difficult to, oh, so sweet, you little one.
Sorry.
She's like, yeah. So Nigeria is a great market because Nigerians are used to buying online more than anyone else except for South Africa. Okay? So e-commerce is big in Nigeria. And we discussed it in the networking foyer on Facebook. And on top of that, it is a high-risk market, but not for you, because you're doing an online business and product that is based in the UK, okay? And therefore, the high risk doesn't apply, really.
Right.
So Nigeria is great, first of all. Now you want to know, okay, whom am I targeting there? And this is very, very important, Sassy. You want to, here, two things. You want to target, I would say, women who want to start a business selling self-made, what do you call the hygiene products, or what do you call them, hair products or skin products, okay? Who want to start a business in this regard, and number two, who have the money to pay you. That's important, because there may be a lot of women who would want to do it small scale in their house, but they can't even pay for your course.
Yeah.
So it is actually at a medium to higher end, women who have the money. And if you would be selling the course for, I don't know, I'm just making this up. If you would be selling the course for 300 or 400, 500, it depends on, is this for a month? Is this for 6 months? But if they have to pay a few hundreds, it's okay. All right? So you want to be targeting higher end women in Nigeria who have the money, who want to start a business in the skincare industry. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, their own business in the skincare industry. And so now with that in mind, everything you say, you're not just saying, or here's very important, Sasi, you when you put your course together, you will not put in your course, oh, if you love organic and you want to mix it yourself in, you know, in your kitchen for yourself. These are not the women that you are targeting. You're targeting the ones that actually want to start a business in this regard.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you need to say it in your course. Now that you know who you're targeting and you can, you know, think about these women a bit more, now you can say, okay, what do they need? What do they need to know? What does it include? What challenges do they have? And then you teach them online. And I said that the lady from, this is Maria from Sweet TV, Sweet Cake TV.
Yeah.
Excellent. You know what? She's done a brilliant job targeting Nigeria as well. And she's targeting Nigeria. She used to be at ABBA. She's doing very well with her business now. She's targeting women in the cake making industry. So again, women who want to start a business making and decorating cakes. So it's a different industry. You're not competitors, but you can learn from the way she's done it.
Yeah.
So because she's gone through the struggles of, you know, oh, they can't pay, or monthly or 6 months, what kind of course. And I would actually say, here's it comes, Sasi. And this is, by the way, very ethical, because you're not in the same industry. I would actually say, Sasi, that you go to her website. She offers the entrant course. And buy that. I don't know how much it is. It may be 150, 300, I don't know. I would actually buy it.
Yeah.
So you see what she says, what she does, because she has run through the trial and error. You know, she has really had a lot of challenges in the beginning. So I would actually buy one of those entry courses and see how she does it, or look at her website, see what she offers. And those are the main things, Sasi. You need two things. Number one, you need the course. And you can see in the ABBA family, like I do it. You know, you can record it on your computer. You put a PowerPoint up, you know, or you speak to the computer, a combination of both.
Yeah.
You know, and you have someone film it, how you mix it. So, because yours obviously is done by the hand, so you need to show a lot of pictures in this regard. Number one is the course. Number two is the community to sell to. But I would really just focus. No, I would do both. Here's the thing, Sasi. I would do both. I would also look at opening a Facebook group for Nigerian women who want to do exactly what you offer. You know why? Because they tell you what they need. They will tell you what struggles they have. These are your two big, massive action steps. If you can do them by the end of the month, fantastic. But I know you work, you have a baby, you know. But these are the two big things to focus on. Not the registration, where, you know, not how do I do shower gel. That's not important. Important right now is the course and the community. Because you start with the community, the Facebook community. Nigerian women are on Facebook. Okay. No questions about that. You do those two. And then that's the main thing you need. And there was one more last thing. Let me, what was that? I forgot, just slipped my mind, but it will come to me anyway. Okay. So these are the two action items you need to work on.
So you said this, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sasi, please.
I was just going to summarize. So you said the two main things is to create the Facebook group, and they will basically tell me what their struggles and challenges are. That's me kind of building the community and then building the course based on what they want and what they've said that they've needed.
Exactly. In that Facebook group, you already need to give a lot of value. You already need to go.
Sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. You need to give value. So they may ask questions, you give some advice, you show some products you have done, you give some tips. You know, don't be scared of giving things away. Mm-hmm. This is how you create fans. And then people want to buy from you because they trust in your advice and your tips and what you produce. So that's the community, because they will be the best community later buying from you.
Right.
Okay. So course and community, that's what you need for your business model. Doesn't work for everyone. Facebook group, I wouldn't really say to everyone, but Nigerian women, that's Facebook group.
Okay.
Yeah, women in Nigeria, that's the better way to say it. So now quickly, your questions. Your business will be registered in the UK. You don't need to register it anywhere in Africa. Okay. Only register it once you start selling. Don't worry about registering it now, because that just means the tax man will be in front of your door faster. Okay.
Yeah.
Even once you've made your first sales, don't worry, you can still register your business. So, and the second one was one product. Start with one or two products, you know, and then do a little range, because of course, because it's a course. I don't know, I've never done skincare products, but it shouldn't be too complicated, either for you or the people watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would maybe do, I don't know, one hair care and one shower gel. That's it. Don't do like 5-10 different things.
I think skincare would be, first of all, the hair care one would be more for advanced members who've already done the course, because that is it's not completely different, but you need a lot more skill to do hair care products. So they would all have to start on some type of skincare first. They wouldn't, or I would need to create a whole new course for a foundation hair course, if that makes sense.
Very good. So you start with always, for all of you ABBA members, you always start with the simplest entry. You start with skincare. That's it, Sassy. And just do a couple of products.
Okay.
Yeah. But now don't worry about just 2 priorities. Remember when I said step 2 is put your priorities down? Yours is create the course and create the Facebook room community.
And you said to try and do the community by the end of the month.
No, I didn't put a date on it. I just said do it parallel. It makes sense to do it parallel, because the Facebook group, I actually would start with the Facebook group.
Yeah.
It will give you a lot of information of what these women want and what's missing in Nigeria. So you don't base your course on assumptions. This is part of your market research, creating that group.
Okay.
Yeah? Makes sense?
Yeah. Have you remembered what the second thing was?
You said Nigeria only. Oh yeah, Nigeria only. Yeah. You start with Nigerian women, and believe me, you know, women from Kenya, Ghana, or wherever, they will join. But you start with women from Nigeria, just simply in terms of making sure that whatever you offer, those products are available in Nigeria. You know, you bring maybe examples of success stories from Nigeria. So you focus on Nigeria, like I focus on the US and UK. I still have people sitting here from Sweden or Germany, but I focus on the US and UK. So you're not cutting anyone else out. You just focus on the strongest market by design. And then others will join who think like, wow, if it works for Nigeria, it will work for me in Kenya. But you focus on Nigeria because that's your strongest market at the beginning, and you don't want to overload yourself.
Okay, when you say products available in Nigeria, do you mean the ingredients?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's very important. You need to understand that too, because you don't want women to have other obstacles. You're teaching them something great, and then they say, well, it doesn't work. We don't have that here.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. All right. So, Maxine, if you have, and by the way, Sassy and everyone else, ask continuous questions, please, in networking for you. You can also record little videos and upload them there. You know, if you don't want writing, if you want talking or videos, that's all fine. It's your working space. It's your working space. All right. So, lastly, Maxine. Maxine, this is it, Maxine. Can you try again? Okay, I'm not sure, you may have problems. I can't see you in the chat box either. So,
posted it in the.
oh no,
in
you
the
did.
chat.
Oh yeah, thank you. Okay. I need to scroll up. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, last one is Maxine. And for everyone else, it's like, I didn't ask my question. Exactly. That's why you should just jump up your seat. But I understand that some questions are coming later. You can always ask them in a networking foyer. So Maxine, sorry for all the feedback. I got samples from Ghana. I think it means honey samples because you were working on the honey. Look, someone else wanted honey, right? So, however, the packaging is not acceptable for retail sale in stores. Oh, is that the packaging from the Real Life, or what is it? From Real Life Honey in Ghana. I don't want to invest in repackaging right now. Other options are to sell in bulk, or can only see to retailers who have existing private label products. What do you think? And are there any other options? Well, I'll tell you something, Maxine. Excuse me. Here's what I can tell you. When it comes to honey, what is it? Real Life Honey. What was it called? The Ghana. I call it Real Life Lifetime Honey. That's the name. Sorry, Lifetime Honey Ghana. I can tell you, it's one of the best packaging I've seen. Honey in Africa has across the board. It doesn't matter where you go. It is poor packaging and branding. All right. And for one, you don't get glass, and you don't get these high end tubes that you can, I don't know where you can just squeeze on it. All of it is cheap plastic, and it looks terrible. And we can't do anything about it. That's the standard at the moment when it comes to honey. I actually thought Lifetime Honey was pretty good, and you're saying it's not a good standard. I have it here. I think it's fantastic. I would buy it. But anyway, you know maybe the Canadian market better. I thought it was a very good standard, but you can't get it better than that. That's all I can say. So I think you need to go back to then selling it in bulk for the time being anyway. Get some cash flow in, get your contacts, get to know the market, and then have it branded and packaged it later in Canada possibly. Because in Africa, that's just the best standard you can get at the moment with honey. They do very well with other products, but not with honey. So, right, Maxine, in regards to the nutritious info of the honey, I'm sure that they have on an extra sheet. But if you find a good buyer that wanted it on the back of the label, they can produce it for you in Africa. To all of you who want to import products from Africa, once the supplier in Africa understands that you are a serious buyer and you will buy a lot, they will change the label for you. They will change it in the language you like. They can change it into German, into Arabic. They will add whatever is needed in your country, so they can absolutely amend that to your request. So that's not the problem, Maxine. If you find buyers and you think there's some information missing on the label, they can adjust it for you. I mean, that's the feedback I got from all the suppliers I've been talking to. So it shouldn't be a problem for this honey supplier. All right, dear ABBA family, thank you for staying. I mean, more questions I know. Please go to the networking foyer. Ask your questions, please. The session has closed, but please use the networking foyer to ask away. If you have challenges, let us know. If you have made progress, let us know so we can celebrate too. So first thing to do, everyone, before we close, take your time off after this session, or if it's too late, then you do it tomorrow, and you take a conscious decision to end 2018 on a high. Write it down. Then you come up with your main priorities. And as we have just seen with the exercise with Sassi, she had questions, that's fine. But some of you may come up with this and this and this and this and this. And that will take away the focus. Start with the end in mind. So when I asked Sassi, okay, so what do you want to ideally have achieved by December? She was very clear. which is great. So you start the same way, and then you say, okay, this is what it takes to get me there. And if you're not sure, you can still ask in the networking foyer. Come up with your top priorities and then take massive action. And remember, massive action is not on the level you've been taking action over the last few weeks. Massive action is to double that, all right, at least. And if you were at 0, well, then you start taking action now. All right, so dear Ava family, I enjoyed the live hangout as always. Keep marching. It will be slow in the beginning. It's normal. It's part of the game to success. Keep hanging in there, okay? And always remember, success is about doing certain things in a certain way consistently. And we'll continue the learning curve here. Bye-bye, everyone. And I will unmute you so you can all shout your goodbyes. Goodbye, everyone. Bye. Bye-bye. Keep marching. Never give up. Keep marching. Bye-bye. Bye.